All right. Okay, y'all. So we posed the question a couple of days ago about when we're in conversations with people and we get to the point where they want more details about the program / price, how we respond, and how we lead them down the path of getting them the information and what all we share. And it was really helpful to see some of the responses that Kathy, Katie, and Molly all provided. And Elaine and I just got done kind of going through them and talking about it. And so we want to talk about some points that we hope will help you. And we're going to share our screen a couple of times. Elaine's going to share something with a conversation that she has ongoing with a person that's about to pull the trigger on buying a challenge pack. And then I'm going to share what I give to people whenever they're asking for more details. And I will also post this on our team, on the group page. So don't feel like you have to read it all, but I'm going to at least talk through some of the points on it when we get to that part of the screen share. But one of the, some of the things that we just talked about, and I'm just going to start with what Kathy shared, just to kind of go over a few points. When you are talking to people and you're giving them the information about the program, and you're going to eventually lead to the price as well, some things to make sure, at least this is our advice, our opinion. You don't want to start it out by saying, you can get the program, and let's see, because she writes, you have the option to order the program with or without Shakeology. I would say never say that. Never say that. Say the challenge pack includes, and then you list everything the challenge pack includes. And that also is Shakeology for 30 days. Don't give them the option of it without Shakeology unless you get to the 11th hour with them, you've given them the price of the challenge pack, and they're like, I just can't afford it right now, or I don't want the shake for whatever reason. Then you can say, okay, if you don't want Shakeology, you do have the option of getting just the program. But don't lead with that. So why not, right? Why don't you want to lead with that? Honestly and truly, because we all want the best deal. And if they think they can get something for $60 versus $140, they're not going to really think about the value that they're giving up if you lead in with this optional, meal replacement shake. You want to stand strong and confident in why they just need it, and they just won't. It won't be anything they want to do without it. And you can turn that into very simply your personal story of why you love it and why you don't miss a day, and what it did for you and what it continues to do for you. And so I want to, if any of you are doing that, where you're throwing it out as an option right from the beginning, I would highly recommend you don't do that. And then the other thing, when you're describing Shakeology, y'all, it is not just a protein-based drink. So please don't use that verbiage, because it is so much more than that. And you need to, without throwing all these hundreds of facts at them about, all the different things and all the different types of superfoods and all this other stuff that's in it. But if you just say it's a protein-based shake, well, they can go to Walmart. Do what?
Or a weight loss drink.
Yeah, or a weight loss drink. They can go to Walmart and buy a big old protein tub for $30. So they're going to go, why am I paying $130 for a protein shake when I can go to Walmart and get it for $30? Don't lead in with that. You need to say something like it's 100% natural, dense nutritional, or densely nutritious, however you say that correctly. But 100% natural meal replacement shake that is full of nutrients that your body craves every day. That's kind of how I describe it. Is stuff that we all have good intentions to eat what we're supposed to eat, but we don't all get our fruits and vegetables every single day. And we don't always get all the vitamins that we need every day. And this will provide that for you without you ever having to think about it. And then anything else you have on top of that is just icing on the cake. I mean, that's exactly what I say to people. So make sure you're careful in how you're presenting it from the very beginning. You know it's more than a protein-based shake because you know exactly what it has in it. We talk about it all the time. You've got to make sure that you are portraying it and sharing with other people in a way to really educate them about the value of what it is. And the other thing I would say is because we're not going to say that Shakeology is optional or talk about, well, you can get the program with or without Shakeology, don't give them like this huge price range. Like, well, it'll cost you between $60 and $160 depending on what you pick. Like, don't add that into the initial conversation when it comes to price. Just break it down by the day. Say, it's on sale for the month of October. You can get it for less than $5 a day. This is all you're getting for less than $5 a day. And you list every single thing that's in the challenge pack. You list the 2 CDs with the 7 workouts. You list a bonus workout, the containers with the meal plan, the shaker cup, the Get Started Right guide and a calendar, and then the 30-day supply of Shakeology. You put all of that in a pretty little bundle and say you get all of this for less than $5 a day. And then you can say, which comes to $140 total. But like, show them the value of what they're getting. Break it down that way first to really make them go, oh, $5 a day. Like, I mean, I go to Starbucks every day and I spend $7 for a cup of coffee, you know? So it kind of helps. And Molly, you said that in I think I saw that in one of your, in your text back to the girl. You said, I don't normally blink an eye at $4 at Starbucks. So I just think of it as I'm prepaying my grocery bill. That is an awesome way to say that. Like, I love that because it is. Shakeology is considered part of your grocery bill. And I think that's an awesome way to make people break it down in their mind and see the value of it on a much simpler daily application that makes them absorb the cost of it a little bit better. Because when I first heard the cost, and I'm sure most of us on here were the same way, I was like, that is a lot of money. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of money. But I was like, okay, $4 a day, okay. Yeah, I could probably justify that. And so I jumped on the bandwagon, and 3.5 years later, I'm still drinking it, you know? So, but just think about it in ways to really make it applicable for them to digest what you're sharing with them and what it is. Elaine, do you have anything to add so far on that?
Well, you know, obviously it's not going to be a stock answer, but in some ways your frame of an answer is. And then as I can show you with these 2 particular examples, you're going to, you know, add to it as needed based on how that conversation's going. But for the most part, you have a framework, you know what you're not going to say and what you're going to say. A good example is last week, based on one of her questions regarding Shakeology, I had shared my story, which kind of weaves in a little bit of what, you know, you talked about, as well as, you know, being freaked out by the price. But then I forgot, I was in my Bitly account, and I forgot, and I think I mentioned this to Joy, that Carl did this little less than 3-minute video about what Shakeology is for him. And I love it because it's from the perspective of a typical American who doesn't quickly go to vegetables and is quick to grab whatever, you know, so on and so forth. So on top of my story, I ended up sending that to her because I was like, you know, I want you to hear it from the perspective of even a male, because she wants her husband to join her. So anyway, what I'm trying to get at is, if you have a framework of a natural go-to of how you're handling this process, it will become so natural for you, but also you're not reinventing, and you're becoming so familiar with how you go about this that it doesn't get, you know, like, it doesn't shock you and it doesn't cause you to just lock up and not want to address the questions. And then in that also, holding back on really sharing that price until you're at a certain point in that conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, having their why is so important. Really, sharing with them all that they're getting. I love, Christy had an experience this week, and I want you to share it, where the gal was like, is that all? And you didn't know how to take it all at first, right?
Yeah, no, she told me, and we went through it. We have her on the phone, actually, and it's a girl that's been taking my size class, and we've become friends. And she was like, okay, so tell me about it. So I was giving her all the details about the program and what's included in the group and what all we do and all this other stuff. And then I just said, and you can get all of that for $140. $140, that's all? She goes, sold. Totally sold. Like, I am all in. Like, it was that easy. And sometimes it is that easy.
But follow up with what she said, what she spent on her trainer.
Yeah. So she had been going to a personal trainer and stopped recently. Like, maybe at the end of the summer she stopped or something. And she was paying $140 a week for a personal trainer. So when I told her $140 for a program she gets to keep forever and a month's supply of one meal a day, she was like, yeah, I don't even have to think about that. And then the even funnier thing was her husband wanted to do it with her, and so he ended up buying the 21-day Fix Extreme Challenge pack so that they both could have Shakeology and just do it together. And so they didn't even blink at that cost. That isn't the case for everybody. I know that. You know that. We all have people that totally freak out about the 140. But that is, just like Elaine said, that is why knowing their goals, and I mean not just, well, I want to lose weight. Well, what do you want to lose? Or what about the weight is going to make you feel better? Or is there an event coming up? Or is there a pair of jeans you've been wanting to get into that you haven't been able to? Find a deeper meaning for them before you ever get to the rest of this. Because when you do, if you get to a point where you've shared everything and they are still like, yeah, I don't know, I just don't think I can afford that, then you have the ability to say to them, okay, I understand financial strains, and I understand, when budget is an issue, but you told me that you really wanted to lose this 30 pounds because you are pre-diabetic, okay? So what in your budget can you cut that you spend on a daily basis to allow you to afford this, to better your health? Y'all can talk to people like that. Like, that's why you learn their whys and you get to that personal connection and that relationship. You work hard on building that so that when it comes down to it and you have those facts in your back pocket, you pull it out and you go, look, I am here to help you. You told me this is what you want to achieve. If this is really important to you and you don't want to be on diabetic medicine, then what can you do to cut out of your budget to be able to justify this cost? Mm-hmm. I mean, you can ask that.
That's kind of the angle I went with this one gal. And it all started, you guys, with her filling out the Google form. And, I so encourage you, and I even encourage you, Joy, to give it another try, because it's in those questions that I feel, because of what they shared, I feel more confident in going into the conversation with them. And because they've shared some real stuff, and that one gal in particular she just wants to lose 10 pounds. Well, I know this program, and if she's going to commit, she could do that. Mm-hmm. So I was able to take that, and then the fact that she's in this wedding, and the last question where she has to write the statement, yes, I'm ready to invest in me. Well, invest means invest, right? So when I started the conversation with these gals based on what they wrote, I had some really good stuff, and so maybe, and Joy, maybe you and I need to talk about what's preventing these people from filling it out. and I'm happy to share with you guys my form. And I know Christy and I both recently realigned our forms so that even at the beginning of the form, they're seeing what they're getting.
Yeah.
Price isn't there, but they see what they're able to get. Another thought with that is, for instance, she came back with a price objection. And it was in that price objection that I was able to say, so what in your day is worth, I was going to share the screenshot with you, but I'll have to scroll through anyway. Let me get to that last bit of this. Okay, I'm ready. However, oh, no, that wasn't it. It was right before. Sorry. I need your help. I can't spend a lot of money right now, but I need something to help me lose that 10 pounds. What do you suggest? Well, she'd already filled out the form, so I had the other information. So I just responded. I have a couple ideas that I've seen work extremely well for others in your same position. That's not saying like I'm giving you something for free. And then I felt like, because I remember for me when I was trying to get Shakeology into my budget, what I had to do. So I thought, well, I'm just going to go at it in that kind of idea. What are you willing to, if you look at your budget, what are you willing to remove or sacrifice in exchange for something that will get you to that goal? Mm-hmm. Even if it's just for this period of time, what is it that you are willing to? And still at this point, she didn't know what the price was. She might have done her homework. I don't know. And I did throw in there, that because she is in a bridal party, that I also offer incentives for people that gather more, gather friends or referrals if they end up jumping in. And then I started to continue the conversation, shared with her everything she'd get. And then at that point, I told her the price. She still didn't balk, but, the reality that she doesn't have that disposable income right this minute. But it did get to a point where she said, I'm ready. She has to wait until payday at the end of the month. And, we've kind of left it with, okay, I'm going to have the prep week start Monday, counting on your word. And then she's still looking at her bridal party as to if there's anyone else that'd be interested. But at least I knew prices is an issue, but I'm challenging her to look at her budget, like we all have to be smart with our spending.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that you just have to hone in on their reasons why they originally clicked like or commented or filled out the form. Something in them drove them to do that. And because they have a need that they have a desire of something they want to achieve. And it is your job to figure out what that is and why and how deeply rooted it is so that you can help them dissect their desire, the level of their desire, and then, okay, how can we get you there? How can we get you to the point where you're able to invest in you?
Yeah.
And be their advocate in that. Don't, it's not this, well, I'm the salesman and you're the buyer and I'm going to throw it down your throat because this is what you have to do. You're friending them. You're building this relationship of trust. And you need to show from the very beginning that I'm here to help you achieve exactly what you told me that you wanted to achieve. So where can we start? If you're telling me you can't afford it, then let's figure out where in your budget you can cut and you can save money. And even if it takes you another month before you can buy, at least we're working towards it. Like that right there, that one statement right there shows them, she's not in this for just a quick sale. I may not be able to buy it from her for a month or 6 weeks, but she just said she was going to help me dissect and figure out how to afford this. There might be cases that call for that. Don't be afraid to be that person. Mm-hmm. This is where you really have to allow yourself to think about the people more than the points, because it is about them. Mm-hmm. And if you can really serve these people to the best of your ability, showing them the value of you, while you're also showing the value of the products that you're offering, y'all, it's a win-win and it's going to go far. Whether they purchase right then or they don't purchase for 6 months, you're going to make a difference in their lives. And I don't know about you, but that fuels me so much every day because of the option and the available, or the option to be able to do that for someone.
What else I forgot to mention, and I can't help but think this was her turning point, was the 100% money back guarantee.
Yes.
I was like, it's because Carl did that live Facebook post last week, and I often mention that more so when the sale is done, but for some reason I was like, and by the way, if you find by the end of November that, it didn't work for you and it, blah, blah, blah. So she was kind of surprised by that, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I use that a lot. I use that a whole lot because it's like, what's the risk? Like if in 30 days you decided I hate Shakeology, I didn't see any benefits whatsoever, it's not worth the money, or that program was terrible, okay, we'll send it all back. Mm-hmm. Even if your bag is empty, send it all back and you can get your money back. So what do you really got to lose?
Yeah,
you're either going to gain a whole bunch of confidence and lose weight and be healthier and feel a whole lot better, or you're going to get your money back.
I think I closed with that. What do you got to lose?
Yeah. I mean, exactly.
10 pounds.
Yeah. The other thing that I would not do is you want to keep control of the conversation, okay? When you're talking to people, you want to end with a question every single time. You do not ever want to say, here's my website, go check it out and let me know what questions you have. No. I don't even send my website to people when they're going to order. I use the mobile app every single time, unless they're already an existing customer for some reason, and then it can't work that way. But if you give your website out and you just say, hey, go check it out and let me know what questions you have, there's two problems with that. Number one, you have no way of knowing what they're looking at. They could go on there and buy just the program, meaning to buy a challenge pack, but not knowing what in the world they're doing. And so that becomes a whole big, thing that you have to deal with. But the other thing is, when you say, and just let me know if you have any questions, well, if they don't have any questions, they don't have to get back to you. Like, you have not left it with a question that is showing them that you're expecting to hear back from them. So you always, like, instead of saying, check out my website, like what I say after I give them all that is included in the challenge pack, I tell them the cost, I say to them, this is a pretty awesome value, don't you think? Is this something that you think you'd be ready to commit to and find benefit in? ? And then I leave it and I wait and see. And if they don't reply to me in a day or two, don't think I'm not writing them back. Hey, did you have time to look through the information I sent you? What questions can I answer to help you make a decision or to help make your decision easier? Just always end with the question. It's the best thing I can tell you, because it keeps you in control of the conversation and it's not leaving it open-ended. I used to be really bad about saying, just let me know what you think. And I don't say that anymore ever. Like, even when I type it still, I'm like, no, and I go back and I delete it, because it's just, I have it that I had to really break, because it doesn't keep you in control of where you're trying to get them to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, state that little you say, isn't that a great deal? Or that's an amazing deal, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. What I say is, this is the exact line from my template is, all of this will cost you less than $5 per day, which means the total cost is $140 plus tax. Pretty awesome value, don't you think? And that's after I gave them everything that's included in the challenge pack. And I've also explained what the accountability group is and the value that they'll have in the accountability group, and what, I give them little tidbits about what I offer and what I provide in the challenge group. And then I'll break down, I have a little description of what the 21-day fix is, and then a little description about the meal plan. And then I go into a little bit about Shakeology. I talk a little bit about what's in it, but I mostly talk about why I started drinking it and what it's done for me. I focus on how it's made me feel and how it's improved my life, not so much about, well, it has all this other stuff in there, and I don't get into all that, because that goes in one ear and out the other, y'all. People don't, when you say, it has pre and probiotics and it has I'm not going to say this right, but maca or however you say that. When you say all those ingredients, they're going to go, I don't know what you're talking about. What is that even going to do for me? Like, I have no idea. So when you can relate to them, especially when you're talking about somebody you have a commonality with, whether it's a mother, a working mother, stay-at-home mother, somebody who struggles with rheumatoid arthritis or diabetes, and you know something about that, or have personal, dealings with any of those things, like, it's so much easier to pull it in a relational way of saying, this is what I was dealing with, because mine was hormone-based. I was a crazy woman, and I share that with people. Like, 3 years ago, I thought I was losing my mind, and I was about to go to the doctor. And then a friend of mine told me about Shakeology, and I decided to try it for 30 days, and it completely turned it around for me, and I've never gone to the doctor. And that was 3.5 years ago. So that is what I say to people, because that is my story, and that is my truth. And that is why I drink this stuff every single day, no matter what. And so that's where you want to go with it. And you really want to find a way to have a common ground and connect with people to help them understand the value that they're getting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How is this resonating? You guys like nod your head or thumbs up or whatever. I hope it's giving you guys some new little ways of going about this, and that it'll give you more confidence. I don't know if we mentioned in all this that our framework or our template of conversing is something we have stored. I think Christy puts it in Evernote. I always have it on my computer under text edit, wherever it is, just so that framework is there to grab. So it's, it's not something like, oh, we got to start over.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, anything you can make a template of that you don't have to keep reinventing the wheel every time someone says, well, tell me more about this accountability group or the 21-day fix. Like, have your template written up where you explain all of that, and you never have to type all that again. The only thing you're going to have to type is if you're talking about a different program. So have your templates typed up with Max 30 and PIO and size and all of them of what is included in those challenge packs that you can grab and cut and paste into the rest of the information that you're sending them. It saves you so much time, y'all. And it's so nice when you go, oh, I'm tired. I want to go to sleep, but I didn't get back to that lady. I need to write her back. Oh, I have it already written. I just have to say, hi, Susie. Here's the information I promised you. And put a couple of little personal things in there just to make sure that they know that this wasn't some copy and paste thing. And it is so much easier, and it saves you a gazillion amount of time. Like, it is just, I highly recommend y'all do that in whatever form or fashion works for you. But yeah, it's a lifesaver. Mm-hmm. Totally. Does anybody have any questions?
I do.
Yeah.
If I've been inviting people that I haven't necessarily formed with, like just saying, hey, I'm going to be doing this group starting next month. It's focused on health, general fitness, clean eating. Would you be interested? And then if they say yes, how then do you transition into their why, or how do you get them to fill out the form? Like, I'm inviting you, but here's a stipulation. You have to fill out the form to be sure you meet the criteria first.
Well, what I would say is the first thing that comes off my mind, Elaine, tell me what you think. But what I would say is I'm super excited that you're interested in doing this. I would love to learn more about exactly what goals you want to achieve, to make sure that I can direct you towards the best program for you. So if you wouldn't mind, please fill out this form. Just share it. It's not very long. It'll take you 5 minutes, however you want to say it. That will help me understand what you're really wanting to work for and what your struggles are and different things like that. And then we'll revisit it. I'll give you a suggestion or two of programs that I think would be a perfect fit for you. Like something simple like that. Elaine, do you concur?
To me, it's just like a natural process in that, even if, there's times when on an event invite that they've said, going, and then I never see the conversation continue. But for the most part, it's just kind of a natural procedure. Hey, take a minute to fill this out. And I'll, be in touch within the next 24 hours.
Yep.
Because I get some responses that are, yeah, I'm interested. What is it and how much does it cost? Is their very first question. And sometimes I'm not sure how to go about making sure they get the information, but I don't want to avoid cost either, because I don't want to seem like I'm trying to sneak something by them or be, be untruthful about it. But
take control of the conversation. Say, great, just take a minute to fill this out, and I will get back to you ASAP. It'll be within the next 24 hours.
Exactly. Because if they take time to fill that out, and when you create these forms, you want to make sure every field is required. Like there's a way for you to click on it to make it a required field they have to fill out before they can submit their form. It will give you a fully loaded gun, for lack of a better analogy, to be able to go back at them and say, okay, you give me, ABC. Here's a program I think would be perfect for you. Check this out first to see if it's a program that you think you would enjoy. And then just send them the video from your website. Not from YouTube, but go onto your Coach Online office and go to the video library and pull that link, or make a shorter link in Bitly of it, whichever you want to do, and say, check this out and see if this is something you'd be interested in. And then I can share more details with you. So you're addressing, hey, I'm not negating your question, but I really want to know what you're working towards, and if this is even one that you would be interested in. And if it's not their cup of tea, you say, hey, what kind of, or you ask on the front end, what kind of workouts do you enjoy doing? Which is what I do a lot of times to try to figure out, what are they really wanting?
And I've had more interest in Beachbody On Demand asking that question than anything. I think I've got 2 or 3 people signed up with On Demand in the last week or two, just because I don't know if it's the price that they don't want to commit to anything more than that. So I'm hoping then that even doing that we can.
And honestly, I mean, the Beachbody On Demand Challenge Pack for people is a great deal, because they're getting exposed to 11 full programs, plus all the sneak peeks to all the other ones that aren't fully on there yet. And I mean, it is really a way for people to test a bunch of stuff out to figure out what they might want to get. And if it's one of the newer ones that isn't fully available, then they'll be enticed to pull the trigger and buy that.
I had this conversation going on right before our call, and actually right as it was starting, she goes, I think I'm going to go with Turbo Jam. I'm like, hold everything. No. You need to buy On Demand, period. Like, no. So, I mean, having that in our back pocket, and the fact that it's technically cheaper to get that with Shakeology than it is to buy just Shakeology, because she wants Shakeology anyway.
And those are the people that want nothing to do with Shakeology for any number of reasons. They want nothing to do with it at all. And I have not yet found a way to give them the information to change their mind.
And I wonder if it's something that they've heard about, or something that has to be dismantled. And, sometimes those people, the best place for them would be, Beachbody On Demand in a challenge, so that they're experiencing
other people drinking it.
Hearing other people talk about what Shakeology is doing for them.
Absolutely. Like, I would put anybody who buys an on-demand package, whether it's just by itself, I would include them in your challenge group to get them exposed to that side of it, the accountability side, and to hear people talk about Shakeology. And you never know. I mean, are they giving you reasons why they don't want anything to do with it, or they're just totally shutting you down?
Both. I think one is just cost, and one was I have to watch my sugar, or there's not enough protein in this one compared to what I'm drinking now, or any number of things. And I actually have one girl who's just drinking Shakeology, doing her own online boot camp, whatever, in my challenge group, kind of hoping to get some of the other people on board.
Yeah.
With that too, but okay, well, that's helpful.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's just some, some misguided information in their mind.
But for those people, don't forget the performance line.
Yeah.
huge. I mean, I haven't gotten a lot of draw from it, but I see it, you know, people that are saying about that protein and stuff. It is going to play a part once you start being more educated in that, and have that in your back pocket. If they don't want Shakeology, but they could try the Energize and the protein, the Recharge.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
and I was watching Kate and Leopold the other day, and the guy said, we have a misrepresentation of always wanting to put the ball in someone else's court, like, oh, the ball's in their court now. Think about it. We don't ever want to leave the ball in their court. So that it reminded me of never leave it in their hands. So
Perfect point. Yeah. Leaving the conversation with a question from you.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
When do you guys ask them to fill out the form?
Well, for me, like a lot of times I'll put the form on my challenge group post, like at the bottom, and I'll say, fill this out. So sometimes I get it that way. So it's right off the bat. If I've got to honestly get better if they haven't filled the form out, but we start to get in a conversation to say, do me a favor and fill out this form so I will really know exactly what your goals are and what your struggles are, and we can really make sure that we're headed the right direction for what you want to achieve.
Okay.
I honestly don't, I don't know. I just don't think you're going to have a whole lot of people say no if they're serious. If they're not serious, then
Right.
you know that from them not wanting to fill it out.
Yep.
Elaine, what about you?
You know, ever since I started using one, I just feel like it legitimizes what I'm trying to offer them. You know, it really gives them, but the reality is it's just a form that I threw together, but it just makes it a little bit more
Official.
business. So as soon as the conversation starts, you know, typically it's happening through my events, but even when, you know, I've met somebody, the next thing I want to do is get that in front of them, you know, because it helps me to know how they best communicate. Do they want me just to text them? Do they want me to private message them, or can I get on the phone with them? It just alleviates. And also, I have to believe, if I was in their shoes and I filled something out, then I kind of know, where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like, I feel better about going into a conversation when I kind of have an idea where things are going.
Yes.
Sense?
Yep. Okay.
And sometimes also, you guys, I think people are more comfortable sharing when they're writing. And then if you can peel back more layer,
Mhm.
I totally agree.
it's easier than for them to say,
Yes.
well, I can't stand looking at myself in the mirror, but what they'll write, it shocks me.
Oh, some of the stuff that they share is unbelievable. I mean, like, you're like, wow, I mean, I don't even hardly know you, but I feel like I've known you for years. I mean, it's amazing.
And I get that in private messages all day long. People like writing me where I'm like, I don't even have time to read all this right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been getting pictures of people in their bra and panties from here down going, can this program help me yesterday? I was like, what?
Wow.
That was from Elaine. That was from the lady I reached out to. Super cold market. Within 24 hours, we're best friends.
I love it.
Yes.
That's
So
awesome.
That excites me. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, and something that I will say is, like, even when I post my workout videos, I will sometimes put my application link at the bottom of whatever I wrote. And I have had people click on it just from that.
Wow.
So I will put it
random.
you know, I don't do it all the time every day, but I do it a lot. And you know, there's sometimes it's super hot and I'm having people fill it out left, right, and center, and there's other times I don't get anything from it. But I feel like that's just like with anything else. Like, I do think it's a value. And plus you have their email address, like, and that's something you want, because if Facebook blows up, you will have that. And the fact that Google will put it into a spreadsheet for you and it's nicely done, so that step's taken care of. I mean, like, there's just so many benefits to it.
Okay.
So yeah, I would try to get more in the habit of it, even if it's something that you just ask when you first start talking to somebody like we're talking about.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'll try again.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions?
And you guys, if any of you don't know how to set one up, You can just Google. I mean, on YouTube, they have so many trainings on it, but it's really, really easy.
Yeah.
I think Google just looks at us as a bunch of idiots, so they do make everything so easy. Thank you, Google. That's speaking for me. Just,
Yep. And like I said, I will put, since we didn't do any screen shares, but I will post my template that I use on our group page, just so y'all have it as a reference point, and maybe it'll help you think of something you haven't thought of, or verse something a certain way. The bottom line is you want it to sound like you in the way that you would talk to people, and but maybe it'll help. So I'll put it on there.
And I hope we hear from you guys that, if you start putting some things into place, and give us feedback. Let's hear about it in our group. Like, oh my gosh, now I'm not, sharing my link, or I'm not sharing the price until here, and this is what's happening. Let's talk about it. Let's hear about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Share your successes that you're having, and when you're implementing new things, like let us know if they're working and how, because that's exciting stuff. It's fun to say, okay, I did it. I put it out there and somebody actually filled it out, and look at all this information I got. I mean, like, that's exciting, because that's how we do this, So yeah, definitely share with us.
And Molly, definitely share this with Katie, your new girl, to be able to get on the front end of how to go about navigating the challenge pack sales. Definitely share this with her early on.
Yeah, I think it's beneficial. I had a conversation with Allison earlier tonight. I asked her if, because I think I told you, Elaine, I was going to reach out to the college. I work at the local university, so they have this classified ad thing that you can put on the email. It goes out to everybody. So I sent one out saying I wanted to do a 21-day challenge between November 2nd and November 23rd. And I had about 8 people reach out to me so far saying they were interested in it.
That's
so awesome. The first 3 people, I spewed all the information out. So I called Allison today, and I was like, listen, I am not hearing back, and I gave way too much information. Of course, everything that you said, Christy, especially that was definitely me being hey, you can get this or that, or So then the other people tonight, Allison helped me reword it. But the question I had for her, and maybe you all can bring some more light to this, is these are people, since I'm specifically doing a challenge, and it's a short amount of time, and I want to do that, I'm not really feeling I'm forming with these people at all. So would this be appropriate to do that link in my email to them before I give them any information at all?
Yes.
So
so.
Go ahead.
I mean, I totally think so. I think it would be, simply, hey, Molly, I'm super excited you're interested in doing this. Please take a minute and fill out this form just to share with me what your goals are, if there's anything you struggle with. And then I'll share some more details with you about how this group works. I mean, it can be very short and sweet, but that information is gold. And that's the way you think about it. It is gold to you. And so, and you know what else it is? It shows them that you genuinely want to know about them and what they're wanting and needing your help with. Because if you don't ask the question and you just go, yeah, it's for 21 days and here's what you get and here's what I do and here's the price. That's all great. But where in there have you said, why are you wanting to do this? What do you need? How can I best help you? What are the goals you want to achieve? You've got to start there, because that shows an investment on your part in them. You genuinely care about what they want to achieve, and you're going to do everything you can to help them get there. And you want to know, do they have a lack of support? Are they unmotivated? Have they tried other things before and hadn't had any success? You want to ask a question in your form that kind of digs into what do you struggle most with? Is it the eating, or is it the working out, or, what is it? To really understand a little bit better about their situation on an individual basis.
I think I just got nervous because I set up like this timeline, like here it is, and we know we only have a week left, and I'm not even really doing it for the challenge packs. I really want to do a group. I think this is going to be like open up a huge thing, but at the same time, I don't want to like turn all these people off because I'm not like taking the time at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Just do that one extra little step at the beginning, and I think it'll pay dividends for you.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right. So I might share like what my last email was in that group if you guys don't mind giving me feedback from that.
Absolutely.
Don't mind. Just because it went from like, I might even show you all the process because it's like, it was really long to like shorter, and then the last thing. But
Molly, I would share that. I would share that for multiple reasons. Number one, because it will help everyone else. Like people will learn every time anybody shares anything, we all learn something. Or it makes us think about something. I mean, like, just like you saying, I think of it as prepaying my groceries for the month. I would have never thought to verse it like that, but I'm totally going to steal it because I think it's great. You know, so put things on the page and show us your process and what you've gone through so we can help critique it or, hey, that's really good. Don't change that or whatever it is. Like, that's how we're going to all learn and get better.
Yep.
So anytime any of y'all want to do that, jump on it.
Does that mean you're going to share your script too?
Yes. I will. Does anybody have anything else? No? Elaine, you good?
I'm good.
All right. Y'all, thanks so much. I appreciate everybody taking the time.